So for 20 years, I've been running into burning buildings for a living. For 16 of those years, I was also competing as a bodybuilder, pushing my body to extremes that most people never get to see or experience. Everyone had assumed I was the healthiest guy in the room, but I wasn't. And what was happening to my hormones behind the scenes is exactly what I do right now. So I just want to give you guys an idea of what this schedule looks like. So first, as a firefighter, we work 24-hour schedules, 24 hours on, 48 hours off. Those 24 hours on, yes, we can have our breakfast, yes, we can have our lunch, yes, we can have our dinner, but we're there for the full 24 hours. Now, the station that I work at is pretty busy. On average, give or take, we'll say about 12 calls a day. If you have 24 hours in the day and 12 calls during the day, and you space those calls out every couple of hours, safe to say you could be running all day. So the idea that, firefighters, in some minds, people think that we just lie around and get a whole bunch of sleep and play video games. I've never had that experience. Maybe some guys do, and if that's you, hey man, God bless you, not taking anything away. But the men and women that I work with, we're busy. Now, take the idea of competing, lifting weights, exercise, sports. For me, personally, it was bodybuilding. I was a skinny kid growing up. Through the years, when I turned about 30 years old, it sounds kind of late to some people, but really it's not if you take care of yourself. I said I wanted to enter a bodybuilding competition. People didn't think I can do it. Nobody thought I'd be able to actually get to that level and turn pro, but I finally did. I don't say that to impress you, but just to give you context that the years of training that it took me about 5 years of training from the moment that I decided I wanted to turn pro. And that's after I've been training, in the gym for, I want to say about 12 to 15 years already. So I had a good base and a good foundation, but it required more of me mentally, physically, spiritually to show up and arrive to that level. Now, combine the intense training with the schedule of a firefighter, and just to describe the days off, you're like, well, you get 48 hours off. Okay, hold on a second. 24 hours on, you're running calls basically all day, most of the time during the night as well. You get off in the morning, you're kind of like a zombie. When I was younger, before I was married and had 3 kids, maybe I'd go home and take a nap. Now, forget it. Nap is out of the questions. I have duties and responsibilities of life. I'm not taking any naps. So I come home, I'm tired, maybe I have a cup of coffee, and then that first day, I might drag a little bit, but I go on. I get sleep that night. Hopefully I get some good sleep. The next day, cool, my body's starting to recover. But guess what? I'm also starting to prepare to go back to work. So that 48 hours off, in a way, is almost kind of compressed, and it's not really enough time for your body to fully catch up, given the work schedule. Now add on top the sleep disruption with the job, the stress, life, family life, training. There was a lot going on. And if you have a bad week, think about this. If you're up all night and then you're running calls and you're training hard, and I'd wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I go to bed at midnight and the day off, wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, train before I went to work, and just the tiredness, the exhaustion was compounding. But mentally, I was driven to achieve a goal physically in my body. And man, that was a really, really tough time. Now, I still keep up a pretty intense schedule, but I try to have a little bit more balance. So you got to think about the amount of exhaustion. It's wild. Now, I had just finished a competition, and when I was done with the competition, basically I had stripped down to virtually no body fat. Now, when you get down that low of body fat, different things happen in your body. You need a certain level of fat to be healthy and to, to support your body and make sure hormones and the processes and things are working. You need to have carbohydrates and the proper fuel and the macro and the micronutrients to make sure that the hormones are being supported and your body and your energy and everything is resting and recovering and building back. But after this competition, I was basically stripped down, and then when I tried to do a refeed is basically just reverse dieting. So you diet down to lose the weight and show as much muscle as you can while trying not to lose muscle and preserve muscle. And then a refeed is when you slowly increase the calories back up, hoping that your body will put back on the extra weight that it needs maybe a little bit of fat, but hopefully more muscle, and you fill back out. That's the idea. There's a whole science behind this, and I'll definitely go over that in some more videos, but let's stay on course right now for this. Did the refeed, nothing worked. I felt completely wiped out. I was drained. My body was just not responding the way that it should have. So that's when I thought, okay, something's off. I'm not just tired, but off. So I went to the doctor, I got my hormone levels checked. My testosterone came back around 200, which is pretty low. Now the doctor looked at me and said, don't you dare take testosterone. So before I get into what I actually did, there's a few things that I want you to understand what was happening in my body that got me to that point. And this might be universal for a lot of people. The two things stacked on top of each other. First was cholesterol. Now, cholesterol isn't necessarily just a bad number on a lab test. It's actually raw material your body needs, and it converts into testosterone. Now, competition prep strips your body fat down to a very aggressively low stage lean level. Now, that can also drive your cholesterol down when your body needs it the most to produce hormones. Combine this with decreasing carbs, because carbs feeds into the whole supporting testosterone cycle as well. So these two things together, I had less materials going in, therefore less testosterone coming out. And nobody in bodybuilding talks about this. You know, men or women, when you strip yourself down, you are, in essence, causing a calculated storm of things happening in your body that when you look your best, you may not be your healthiest or at your best. It's a red flag, and we probably should talk more about this. Now, secondly, chronic stress on top of that, the training stress, the competition stress, shift work, the stress of life, all of this is disrupting my hormonal system that was already running out of the raw materials to work with. So, what am I supposed to do? Now, I didn't know it then, but I basically had stripped my body of the exact building blocks it needed to make healthy testosterone levels and hormone levels. And at the same time, I was just running my body into the ground with stress. So that's not necessarily bad luck. It's cause and effect. If you've competed or you've pushed your body hard, this might be happening to you right now and you have no idea why. So I did everything that I could naturally. Supplements supporting adrenals, looking at my cortisol levels, lifestyle, food, any supplemental change I could make to support whatever I could, just nothing was working. Natural testosterone optimizers. Sometimes these work and sometimes they don't. Everyone's body chemistry is a little bit different, so what works for one person may not work for the next. It's kind of like a trial and error, and it's just something you have to keep track of, get your blood work, know what your numbers are, and then maybe from a functional medicine standpoint, you look at everything with a trained professional and you figure out, okay, where are the places that I can optimize? What can I take out right here that might be causing more stress or inflammation in my body? There's a whole lot of things that work together. Overall, the one thing that I couldn't fix was sleep. Running calls through the night as a firefighter made consistent sleep impossible. I don't care who you are. No amount of discipline solves a schedule that is just structurally broken. So eventually I went to go see another doctor. He took a different approach and he offered a low dose testosterone. It was a shot or a cream you could do once or twice a week, but I didn't really want to jump into that. That was not the first move. As a matter of fact, that's the last move after everything else has been tried. I want to make this point very clear. Anybody that I talk to about hormone optimization, my go-to is never, hey, take this as far as an exogenous hormone. I will always tell people, look, let's get some blood work done. Let's look at everything going on, your lifestyle. There's a lot of questions and things I would ask people. Then we're going to formulate a plan and we're going to figure out where you are and where you want to go and how we can get you there naturally. For most people, this is the appropriate step. But there are some people that no matter what you do, things don't work. That's going to be personal, and we can have more of a discussion about that when you're ready. But back to this. So I made the adjustments. I got my testosterone levels to come back up, and within a couple of months, everything was changing for the better. My sleep was improved, my recovery improved, my mood and my attitude shifted. I was happier, I was healthy, I had energy, and I felt like I stopped whittling away to nothing. I didn't say it before, but after doing competition after competition after competition, I did like 7 in a year. And that's a lot. People do more and they're nuts. I don't know how they do it. But 7 competitions in a year and also working the schedule that I had, I mean, there was nothing left. I couldn't strip anything else away from my body at that point. My body was just eating muscle. But when I got everything balanced out, my body was actually able to put on some weight, healthy weight, put on some muscle and build some muscle and get to the point where I actually looked healthy again. I mean, I had gotten pretty skinny. I looked sick. People asked me if I was sick. So it took about 6 months for me to get myself back to that point. And look, I didn't learn these things from a textbook. You can't go somewhere and read a story and this is going to tell you exactly how to do these things. This is coming from personal experience, myself working with a ton of clients and just experiencing extreme stress that maybe not everybody deals with, but then at the same point, we all deal with stress in different ways. It's very personal to you. But anyways, if any part of my story sounds familiar or this resonates with you as far as chronic stress, running on empty, feeling like you should be fine, but you're not, I want you to take the free assessment down below. There's a link. It takes you 60 seconds. It's going to walk you through really quick in a couple of questions where you are right now, and it's going to give you some feedback on how you can build up from where you are to where you really want to go. It's free. It's quick. Take it below, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.